It's David Reese right here on your classic metal show from his Sainted Sinners release of the same title, and that is the title track right there. We're all sainted sinners, and David Reese, great guy to talk to, great interview, loves the CMS, and he's kind of a personal friend of yours, right, Chris?
Yeah, I like David. He's good people, man. He lives out in, where does he live? Italy or somewhere?
Hey, he's in Italy.
Yeah. He's probably locked down, locked in a closet somewhere, COVID closet.
Yeah, but I've had an opportunity to speak to David on a few occasions, and he's always very, very laid back, always seems very accommodating, always likes to come on the show. He's told me that on a couple of occasions that he says he's checked out the show and he really likes what we do. So
yeah, he's good people, man. I like him a lot. Speaking of people who we like, I chatted with our good friend Chip yesterday.
Yeah, how did that go? Did he send his best regards to me? Did he ask all about me?
He most certainly did, Needy. He said, tell Wendell I said hello and that I love what you guys are doing. Because I really do, man. Chip's great. But yeah, he was on fire. It's funny because I get on the phone with him and he's just going through interview day. Like he's doing like 2 or 3 interview days. And Chip doesn't even keep the list. He just knows his phone's gonna ring every half hour and he just answers it and goes. And so I call him and I say, hey man, it's Chris Aiken. He's like, Chris Aiken, finally a good journalist. And he told me, he said he'd been doing a lot of just
shit bag interviews
and he didn't say that necessarily, Chip, he's a little more diplomatic.
Well, I would say probably less than stellar talent who calls and talks to him. So Chip, what was it like playing with Donnie V?
Yeah. So are you guys still in contact, Chip? Well, he's on the record. Oh, is he? Cool. Guys that don't know dick. But yeah, that's actually gonna hit our shit on Monday. But good chat. Barely an interview. It really was just 2 old friends kind of catching up.
Yeah, that's the thing though. When we talk to people we know, it becomes just a phone conversation that people get to listen in on. It's not question answer, elaborate, question answer. It's more like, hey, it's just kind of catching up. It's old home week. It's, you kind of, because of the familiarity. I mean, I think you and I probably have known Chip for about 25 years each.
Yeah. Well, we actually talked about when we first met. I first met Chip in, we think it was either 94 or 95 at Ron's Crossroads.
Mm-hmm.
Which no longer even exists. So, that was forever. In fact, not only does that place not exist, but neither do either of the owners of the club. They're both dead.
Wow.
So the club is dead and both owners of that club have died.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I've known Chip that long and you've known him probably that long as well, right?
I met Chip, I believe the first time was like 97, I think.
Yeah. My favorite all time though was me and you on his tour bus.
Oh yeah.
When we got on the tour bus and it was just a cloud.
Yeah. And I've never seen anyone. We were sitting at the little table in the kitchenette area.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, I don't know what he does now, but all I know is what he told me back in October, that he doesn't drink or smoke or anything anymore. That's what he told me anyway. But he sat there talking to us and he chain smoked, joints.
Yeah.
And while he was smoking one, he was already rolling another.
Yeah. He was a machine.
He was.
He's a character, man.
Yeah, he smoked those like cigarettes rather than the way people smoke pot. They, he doesn't sit there and toke it and hold it and all this. He just smokes it like a cigarette.
He's just, he's like that. He just fucking pounds them down.
He called his tour bus the Oscar Mayer Wiener Wagon.
He did that again yesterday.
Really?
Yeah. Hey, they're getting ready to go out on tour.
When aren't they on tour?
I know, but still, he said, we're getting back out there, brother. It's gonna be us and Faster Pussycat.
Faster Hitler Cat.
He goes, Tammy's been sober for 10 years now. Well, maybe 5, I don't know.
Well, Tammy was, having some, life-threatening health issues just due to his lifestyle after so many years, and he decided he had to clean it up.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, good on him too. I kind of liked Faster Pussycat. I mean, I was never like a fan, but I saw him a few times when they were, hitting. I saw him. They opened for Motley once or twice. I saw him, and I saw him, I think, with, tempted to say like Poison or somebody. I don't remember who, but I saw him 2-3 times in the day, and they were great.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I saw him at the, I don't know, the Odeon or the Agora or Peabody's or somewhere with the Hitler thing,
Faster Hitler Cat.
I was like, what is this shit? They came marching out to the stage. I was like, what the fuck? What did I just walk into?
Well, then Tammy did the whole goth thing. He did the whole white face paint and all that shit. And it's like, what are you doing?
I checked out by that point. Once I went to a Faster Hitler Cat show, I was done. I was like, I don't know what they've done since then. Honestly, I've not seen them since. And not even because I was offended or anything like that. I just was like, ooh, this is a bad show.
Yeah.
Don't want to see this again.
Well, I saw the show where I can't remember what venue it was, but I went there because it was LA Guns, Faster Pussycat, and opening the show was a band that was fronted by a girl. It was called the Mimsies.
I remember the Mimsies.
Yeah, and I dug their CD a lot, and they were kind of a one and done. They went out there, tried to make their mark, and I actually did an interview with that. I don't remember what her name was. It's been so long, but I actually did an interview for Your Music's Bottom Line.
Well, look in your IDs. I know there's like 14 IDs for the Mimsies in there. The Mimsies, yeah.
Yeah, they weren't bad.
They were pretty good. I didn't hate them. They were okay. They were like we have that whole collection of bands that were like kind of up and gone real fast. The Hair of the Dogs and the, what's the one that we play all the time?
New American Shame.
New American Shame. And, there's a few of those bands that we really liked that just kind of came and went fast. But,
yeah, Hair of the Dog, at least they put out 3 discs.
Yeah, but nobody remembers any of them.
No, that's true. But, like New American Shame, I was so blown away by them, and one and done.
Yeah, I don't know how that band couldn't have got a deal. They must have had internal fighting with each other.
They did. They had their lead singer, Johnny, from what I understand, what I've been told by several people is that he suffered from the whole lead singer's disease thing.
Right.
And so he was kind of a real problem to deal with.
Yeah, because Jeff Redding went on to be in like Wasp or something, didn't he?
I don't think he was in Wasp. It was Mike Dubkey who went in and became the drummer for Wasp from Hair of the Dog.
Jeff Redding went on to something like maybe Duff McKagan or something.
Yeah, I think that's what he did.
Yeah, he went, let's see. I'm pulling him up right now. Jeff, because we have that ID that's hilarious. It's Jeff Redding.
Yeah.
Like you're waking him up.
Right. That was right after the Megadeth show with Static X.
Yeah. Static X.
Now here's the Mimsies ID.
Go ahead.
This is Brian.
And Casey.
And Jared.
And Ed.
We're the Mimsies. And you're listening to Neeley on the Classic Metal Show.
Yeah. About that. Yeah, he did. He joined Loaded with Duff McKagan. Yeah, he's done a bunch of shit. Wow, he's been on a lot of shit.
He's kind of like a guy for hire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks like he played in Beautiful Creatures as well. So there you go. Good on him. It's Jeff Redding, New American Shame.
See if I can pull that ID up here real quick.
That's a funny one.
Yeah, all those guys were great.
Yeah, they were fun.
Yeah, Randy and I hung out in their bus too, and that's where I got these IDs.
Right.
Let's see here. That's let's see, that's Johnny. No, that's Terry. Get in here, Terry, Kelly, Johnny, the singer. Johnny. Let's see, I'll find Jeff's here in a second. I got one from everybody. Jimmy, Jeff. Here we go. Let's see. I'll play this.
Hey, this is Jeff Redding from New American Shame, and you're listening to the boss with the hot sauce, Neeley, on the Classic Metal Show.
Boss with the hot sauce.
That's me. I think he took that off of the movie Hollywood Nights,
Right.
Because that's what the DJ that played in the storefront window.
Right.
This is the boss with the hot sauce on Halloween night. Here we go. It's another one, I think.
Hey, this is Jeff Redding from New American Shame. I listen to the Classic Metal Show. Ah.
That's the one I was talking about.
Like those guys.
Yeah, they were good.
Yeah. Sad to see him not make it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, New American Shame, that fucking album rules.
I love it from beginning to end.
Yeah. And it was like right out of the Appetite for Destruction playbook. It should have been big like that. Instead, no one cared.
Mm-hmm.
It's too bad.
It was already past the days of MTV and getting that kind of publicity and promotion. And it was during the grunge era, the end of the grunge era and into the, into the Korn and Limp Bizkit era.
Yeah, it was. It just wrong timing, but what a good band.
Yeah. Great disc. So if you don't own that yet, pick it up. New American Shame.
Mm.
Well, speaking of an American Shame.
Yes.
I see that crying Jimmy Kimmel got smashed by James Woods.
Yeah, well, as he should. As he absolutely should, for fucking being a pathetic piece of shit. He can be one of them that's out there calling for people to lose their goddamn gigs, but when it falls on him, he's like, well, I'm sorry, and I hope people will forgive. Shut up. Pandering douche. He used his apology to fucking attack other people. What a dick.
Yeah. Well, see, here's the thing. If you're a liberal or a Democrat and you do something like, and Jericho Green did a good segment on this the other day about blackface.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a liberal or a Democrat who has done blackface,
yeah,
nothing happens to you.
No.
Nobody calls for your firing. Nobody calls for your, your deplatforming. Nobody calls for cancel culture on you.
Yeah.
But God forbid if you're a Republican or a conservative and somebody dug 30 years into your past and find something, hang him immediately.
Yeah, exactly. He's got to go. He's got to go now.
I mean, that current governor of Virginia, it was dug up in his past. He didn't resign. Nothing happened.
Yeah.
The media didn't call for his resignation immediately. That Justin Trudeau, I know he's Canadian.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing. Nobody called for his resignation. The Black Lives Matter didn't attack his country.
Nope, not at all.
Nope. He's fine. He's liberal. He's
Yeah.
he's a commie, so he's good. No problem.
Yep. Just insane, man.
Yeah. Howard Stern did it. No problem.
Yeah. Just
Jimmy
let
Kimmel did it. No problem.
Jimmy Kimmel did it and he gets a fucking vacation. That's where I'm just like, man, what other job could you work where you do something fucked up that would get anybody else fired? Instead, they say, well, take 3 months off and then we'll see you at the Emmys or the Oscars or whatever. It's like, fuck you. But here's the real question, and we can get into this Kimmel thing if you want to. I don't know that we have to get all the way into it as much as I have a question about this.
Okay.
What do we who are on the other side of this do? Do we stick to our guns and say nobody should be fired? Because you should never be fired. You should never be fired for any kind of speech. Just period, end of story. You should never be fired for any kind of speech, anything that you did in the past. If it floated then and you didn't get fired then, it's done, it's over. Or should we side with fair play and become cancel culture hawks and start crying for cancel culture?
Well,
and canceling this guy.
If it were me, and if everyone, no matter what side of the aisle you're on, played by the same rules,
yeah,
my personal thought is that was 30 years ago. Who gives a fuck?
Right.
That's my personal thought. But the other side, they won't let it go. They want to dredge it up like it happened yesterday, and they want to hold you accountable for it. And if they're going to hold that standard against you and you suffer consequences, but you can't hold that same standard to them and they suffer no consequences, now what do you do?
Well, and that's the question. Do you sacrifice your integrity to try to justify the playing field? That's the question that I have. To me, I can't see myself going out there and saying Jimmy Kimmel should be fired and Howard Stern should be fired because they did the same things that whoever on the other side did that got them fired. I can't see myself doing that because I don't believe in that.
And I agree, but I think if somebody could openly ask the question in a large forum, why is it okay for this guy to get away with this and nobody holds him accountable, but why are you crucifying this guy for doing the exact same thing? Yeah. Instead of calling for their firing or whatever, I want it called out. Like, how come this standard doesn't apply to everyone?
Yeah, well, and I agree. I guess it goes to, the age-old question that we taught our kids, the whole two wrongs don't make a right thing. And believe me, I see it. There is a part of me that wants to use this platform that we have to make all the noise that we possibly can about every one of these fucking jackasses that gets away with it, even though they've called for it on other people. Sarah Silverman and fucking Jimmy Kimmel and Jimmy Fallon and all these fucking lunatic assholes. There's a part of me that wants to do that, but then there's another part of me that's like, can I live with myself preaching something I don't believe?
Yeah, and I agree with you completely, but I don't want people on one side suffering the brunt of income loss and reputation destruction and all this while everybody else on the other side gets to skate.
Right. I know. It's isn't it weird? It's a damned if you do, damned if you don't moment.
I agree. But again, they have no standards, no principles, and no scruples.
Yeah. Somehow I don't think them getting fired will give them that, though. Do you?
No, it won't. But my point is that they'll gladly point that finger and lobby for the destruction of somebody else. But when it comes to them, it's just like, yeah, well, I'm a liberal and I'm a Democrat, so just leave me alone. Oh, okay, yeah, you get a pass.
Yeah. No, I get it. I do get it. It's a weird thing. I've thought about it a lot because it's like, man, I sit around, truth be told, me and the partners at Pinball PA, we have talked constantly about my big mouth because eventually it's going to come home to roost, and I know that eventually somebody is going to leak something that I said on this show to some fucking newspaper in Pennsylvania, and I have to be ready to deal with that somehow. And God knows how I'm going to spin that, but it's really in my head. I think the way I would spin it is, yeah, I said it. Fuck you. Don't like it. Don't fucking play pinball. I don't care. I think that's how I would personally spin it. The problem is that if it's brought by a side that is politically against me, they'll never let it go.
Right.
And that's fucked up.
And I agree. And that's the problem. Hail and Kill caller, you're on the air.
Hail and Kill, guys. How's it going? This is Metal Drummer 777.
It's been a while. What's on your mind tonight?
Yes, sir. It's been a while. Well, I just want to talk about some of the BS that's been going on. Going off of what you guys are saying, I know people on both sides of the equation. Obviously, I'm on the right side of the law. I want law and order. I don't stand for any of this Black Lives Matter bullshit, none of that. And having lived in Los Angeles, I got to know some very liberal people. And
in LA? No way. You found liberals in LA? That's hard to believe.
Right? You're telling me, man. And obviously, I would tell them that I was a Trump supporter, and I would get these stares like I was the devil. And I wouldn't care, I was proud to own it. And I basically wanted to get these people to understand the reality of things. And it's not based on opinion or emotion. Things are the way they are, regardless of what they think. And basically, what I've come to the conclusion of is that people can only are only attached to the things that matter to them. So if they're American, they can only see the perceived systematic racism that they think they witness. But if you ask Michael Jordan or Obama, they don't feel like victims at all. And I've been talking to people in, for example, Sweden, Africa, and China, just to get their perspective on what is going on. And they've been telling me, for example, the people in Sweden who are very socialist, they think that it's right. They think that the people need to protest and destroy and have their quote-unquote voice be heard and so on. And I can tell that they just don't understand what the problem really is. There's no systematic racism in America. There just isn't. And when you talk to people in China, they will tell you, in China, ethnic Chinese are superior to black and whites. That's it. If you're not Chinese, you're inferior. And if you go to Africa, if you're not black and you're Chinese or white, you're inferior, and that's it. And if you go to Mexico, it's the same thing. And it depends on the perspective. And the Americans can't, the liberal Americans can't really see that they are so privileged to live in a country where there's actually laws and people are not systematically prejudiced against. And in the rest of the world, that is true, but not in America, That's my 2 cents.
I gotcha. Well, how do you communicate with these people around the world? How do you have that input, or that, how do you question them, or who are these people and how do you know them?
Well, I met them through a Facebook group. I've studied different cultures and religions, and even though I don't believe in all the hype and I'm not attached to any of it, I participate in, for example, literary circles where they study the writings and so on. And I'll bring up examples like for example, if it's a Buddhist group, I'll bring examples from Christianity, Satanism, and atheists, like a well-balanced perspective. And sometimes they get offended, and I know I ruffle a couple feathers, but I believe that speaking the truth is the right thing.
All right, fair enough. Anything else?
That's it. Oh. My manager is calling, so hail and kill, fuck you, pal, and hand job.
All right. See, now that's how to make a phone call. You got your thoughts in order. You got your points in order. You say what you need to say, and you're out.
Yeah. You got that? Some of you other mumblers. Jeez, that was a good call. I like that.
Yeah, it was real good. And see, there's a guy who's thinking. He says, I try to see all sides.
Yeah.
You know, I don't just say, well, I'm just a Christian. I'm a fundamentalist Christian, and I don't recognize Buddhism or whatever other religion out there. It's like, yeah, I look at atheism. I look at Buddhism. I look at Christianity. I look at this, and you know, I can draw my own conclusions from what I learn.
Yeah. You don't need somebody else to guide you. That's the big fucking problem with social media. Everybody's always looking for someone to guide them instead of just actually just doing their thing, you know?
Yeah. Or listening to this show, looking for the greatness of Chris and I to guide you through your pathetic lives.
Right. Sure.
All right. Well, actor James Woods has openly scrutinized Jimmy Kimmel's apology for his past actions that have been since deemed as racist. Kimmel's apology is as follows. I have long been reluctant to address this, as I knew doing so would be celebrated as a victory for those who equate apologies with weakness and cheer for leaders who use prejudice to divide us.
Shut up. So my apology is, listen, people, I did it, but Trump's a dick.
Yeah, that's basically what he's trying to say.
That's his apology. I did it because Trump's a dick.
Yeah. I know that this will not be the last that I hear of this and that it will be used again and again to quiet me. No, you are one of the first people to step up to criticize somebody who did exactly what you did. And if they aren't on your same side, you're calling for their cancellation.
Yeah. Isn't it ironic that everybody that runs in his fucking friend circle is fucking coming up with the same shit, with the same racist fucking blackface shit, which I don't care personally, you know, but if you think Kimmel's friends are who? Howard Stern, Sarah Silverman. He used to fuck Sarah Silverman?
Yeah, they were a couple at one point.
Yeah. So, and she was in blackface. Stern's in blackface. He's in blackface. Wonder if it just happens to run in that Hollywood circle.
Yeah. Ted Danson did blackface.
Yeah. But you know, the thing is who gives a shit? You know, it's funny, and I'll pull the curtain back just a tiny bit. You and I were watching the Stern blackface videos.
Yeah.
Last week. Like I sent you a couple of them right when it hit up. And truth be told, we both agreed they were goddamn hilarious.
Damn funny.
That shit with Ted, the Whoopi and Whoopi and with Sherman Hemsley.
Yeah,
that shit was hysterical. So yeah, I wish Howard was that guy now. He's not, you know, but that guy was fucking hysterical. And you and I were throwing the videos back and forth of Stern doing that shit, and it was funny.
It was funny.
You know, it's like, for God's sakes, it was 30 fucking years ago. The people at the time did not say anything to you. So what's the fucking problem?
And it was aired on TV.
And no standards and practices banned it. Wasn't banned. It wasn't nothing. When Kimmel did this, it wasn't banned. It wasn't nothing. You know, and this whole thing of, well, you wore blackface, therefore it's fucking racism. Why? You're representing a black person.
Yeah, you're playing a part. It's called a goof or a gag or a spoof.
Yeah. Now, some of it could be racist, but I think the racism has to come from the. I think racism generally has to come out of your mouth. I don't think fucking dressing in blackface is racist. Is it?
Again, it depends on what standard you want to apply. If you're looking at the liberal douchebaggery standard that's out today, they would consider it racist. But where were these same people 25 or 30 years ago? They weren't out there going, "Oh man, that's racist."
Yeah. Did you see that was it the Simpsons or Family Guy or one of them?
The Family Guy Family Guy guy stepped down from being the Cleveland character.
Yeah, because he's a white guy.
Yeah.
Is he given his money back for the last 25 years?
Probably not.
Probably not. Of course he's not. He's going to keep that money. That show's on its way out. So of course he's fine with stepping down and having Darren number 2 step in and be that guy. Get the fuck out of here with that nonsense. You know, I made the point today about the Simpsons, because now the Simpsons came out and said, we're not going to have anybody represent any people of color unless they're they're
voiced by that thing. Didn't they have a Indian guy on there or something, and they were having a problem with that? The guy didn't want to, mimic an Indian guy.
Right. So now they're going to have to find a new Indian guy to mimic that. So my point back to in this conversation is, well, if we're really going to base it like that, shouldn't the Simpsons all be Asian? Because they're fucking yellow.
Yeah.
They're all yellow. So let's get an Asian cast in there. I mean, what the fuck? It's so stupid. It's so out of control at this point in time. I just can't even fathom that it has gotten to this stupidity of a level. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, Jimmy Kimmel, crying Jimmy Kimmel continues.
Mm-hmm.
I love this country too much to allow that. I won't be bullied into silence by, here's the kicker, those who feign outrage to advance their oppressive and genuinely racist agendas. So in other words, my blackface was not racist, but anyone else who does it beside me is racist.
Here's the real question. Who brought this up?
Well, I think what it is that, the cancel culture who are out there just looking through social media posts, looking through anything to try to just destroy somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
It's just too evident not to say, yeah, Jimmy, you did it too. What do you got to say for yourself? Well, don't look at me. Those are the real racists, the ones who actually did it, who aren't liberals. See,
right.
if you're a liberal and did it, you're not doing it because you're racist. You were just being funny. But if you're a conservative and you did it, you are a racist, and you probably had racist intentions by doing that.
The ultimate double standard.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. It just is so ridiculous that, he takes a purposeful pop shot in his apology at Trump. And again, this drives me crazy that these guys keep making me defend Trump. Yeah. But Trump said nothing about Jimmy fucking Kimmel. Did he?
No.
He didn't bring it up. He hasn't commented on it since. Has he?
Not that I'm aware of.
So why is he the purveyor of hate toward you? He didn't say a fucking word about you. Stupid as fuck.
Well, because I don't like Trump, and I have to use any platform and any opportunity I have to get my dig in at him.
Yeah, but man, oh man, just do your dumb show. And, the worst part is this is the most attention he's gotten in 10 years. Ain't nobody can, dude, name one bit Jimmy fucking Kimmel does on his show.
I couldn't tell you. I've never watched it. I would never watch it. The only reason I know he has a show is because of the social media, or rather the YouTube clips that I've seen of him crying his eyes out on TV. It's like, shut up, you faggot.
Yeah.
You actually kind of used to be funny about 25 years ago. You're not funny anymore. You're a douchebag.
Yeah. There was a lot of things you used to do then that you can't just write off as, well, in today's culture, it's not good, but you can't just write it off as the way that you're expecting people to. You used to make chicks jump on trampolines so you could watch their tits bounce. That's what you did, Jimmy. That was you. That was you, and it was Corolla. And I get that you two have to stick together to fucking try to pretend that didn't happen, but that's what the fucking Man Show was.
Well, I don't think Corolla runs away from his past, does he?
Not really, no.
Not that I'm aware of.
But he's backing Jimmy.
Well, again, I don't know that because I purposely didn't read this whole thing.
Yeah,
but the thing is that I don't think Corolla has run away from the Juggies or being the Man Show or anything else.
Yeah. And nobody should. And again, that goes to my point at the beginning of this about, do we fucking try to cancel this fucking asshole, or do we fucking stand our ground on the strength of our integrity.
Well, I would like to stand our ground on the strength of our integrity, but if this douchebag is willing to point fingers while not taking any blame himself, he needs a square punch in his nuts.
Well, and I agree with that. In this case, I agree, but I still don't think he should be fired.
No, I agree with that, but I think that somehow he needs to feel the wrath of what could could be his fate if he continues being an asshole and acting as if he's some kind of self-righteous person when everybody else is an asshole to him.
And James Woods firing back at him, which we'll get to, is great, and I do like that. And he's obviously a celebrity, which makes it even better that it's a very big name celebrity taking a shot back. But it's not a big enough celebrity, or it's not
a big enough active celebrity, because I think James Woods has been kind of sidelined for a while, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. You need some, and what needs to happen, what would be the very best thing that could possibly happen is if Trump, since he's poking the bear with Trump, if Trump's answer was, you know what, Kimmel shouldn't be fired. Nobody should be. If he actually took that stance and said cancel culture is stupid, nobody should be fired for things that they did in their past. You should only judge people by who they are today, and just leave it as kind of a blanket message like that. Sure, he'd take some heat, but he'll take some heat if he says that it's a nice day outside when it is. So, if that was the stance, man, you're going to have a real from a person in power like that, you're going to have a real hard time firing anybody behind that.
Mm-hmm.
It would end this cancel culture nonsense.
Or put a big dent in it anyway.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, I probably wouldn't end it. You're right. But it certainly, if somebody of real prominence said, look, the ones that should be fired are the Harvey Weinsteins and Jeffrey Epsteins of the world, not the guy that told jokes that were not necessarily against the code of society then, but maybe are now. There's a big difference. They want to put anybody that doesn't fucking, if you don't put up a poster on your lawn that says Black Lives Matter, then anything that you've done in your past seems to be fair game.
Mm-hmm.
And that's bullshit. It's all fucking bullshit.
I agree. Hail and kill caller, you're on the air.
Yeah, what's up, boys? Lou from the Lou. Yeah, you talking my wheelhouse tonight, talking racism.
Lou, let me ask you something. Are you a true racist, or do you just play one on TV?
I'm like you, Neely. It's a behavior thing. I have no problem with anybody of any color if they contribute to society, they pay their taxes, they try to fit in. It's just the ones that act like, ones that act like niggers I don't like.
All right. Well, what's on go ahead.
Well, I just, listen to what you guys saying about cancel culture and all these, Howard Stern, man, has that guy turned into a faggot or what? I mean, how could that guy be a freak? The legend that that Howard Stern is. He's the equivalent of the ball player who's way past his prime, should have retired a long time ago, but is just hanging on.
Like Brett Favre.
Like Babe Ruth. Like Babe Ruth when he played for the Braves.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. There's no reason for him to continue. He made his mark. And he just, now, he used to be, he made his way being anti-establishment. Well, he is the establishment now. I mean, the minute you had that fucking hag Hillary Clinton on your show, it's sad. It's just totally freaking sad. I mean, he's just, I don't know. He's like Willie Mays playing for the New York Mets. He needs to let it go. Retire. I don't know what the worst thing happened to him. Was it the money? All the money he made, or was it getting some quality pussy that ruined his career?
Well, it was obviously success, regardless if it's money or pussy or whatever it is. it's a success, and it was always this burning desire. I think looking back now, it was always his burning desire to be among the elites. And when he wasn't one of them, he was critical of them. But then once he finally reached that pinnacle of success and became one of the elites, it's just like, yeah, I'm in a new league now. Look at me.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I can't say the guy didn't work his ass off.
Well, he did. He broke a lot of ground. He allowed Chris and I to aspire to do this show, a show like this, and we did. You know, we got into radio because we wanted to emulate a Howard Stern or an Opie and Anthony, people who spoke their mind or were a little outrageous or who was a little bit outside of out of step with society. You know, he broke that ground, and you know, it's unfortunate, as he should have ended when his career was at the top. Now he's just an overpriced windbag.
Right. He's one of the elites now. I mean, at least Cumier still has an edge.
Yeah.
To him. I mean, I still go back. I've been listening ever since you guys kept talking him up. You know, listening to a lot of Opie and Anthony playbacks on YouTube and that. And I mean, I love Cumier. Opie, I mean, I don't really understand. I mean, he's about as useless as having a hole on the radio. But Chris, you love Jim Norton a lot, don't you?
I do.
Now, of his characters on Opie and Anthony, who did you like best? Did you like who?
Chip Chipperson?
Chip Chipperson, and then there was
Uncle Paul.
The guy from and the guy from, was it Montana or Wyoming?
Oh, what was that guy's name? He had Ramon. Yeah. Which character you like the best? I loved Ramones. I loved when they would get somebody on the phone and just do the Ramon thing. That's one of my favorite bits of all time.
Right. They get a celebrity on there. They'd be like, Ramon, this person sucks donkey balls. Yeah, no, but I mean, he was great. But you know, the cancel culture and all that, man. Can you imagine all the great movies we wouldn't have had if all the, I mean, like, take for instance, Blazing Saddles. Have to admit, one of the all-time greats. Couldn't make that movie today.
Well, how about Steve Martin, the Jerk?
Yeah. I was born a poor black child. Oh yeah, that would go real well today.
Yeah.
You know, you couldn't have that shit today, man. I mean, would we have Sam Kinison today? No, we wouldn't.
All in the Family would never fly today.
Even though Archie Bunker was made as a character.
Doesn't matter.
It wasn't glamorizing a guy with his attitude, his beliefs. But people will be too sensitive about it. They would not allow an Archie Bunker today, even though he was playing a character.
Yeah, but I don't think we would have the Jeffersons, to be honest.
No, Sanford and Son.
Sanford and Son be another one, probably not.
Good Times.
Well, you definitely wouldn't have Good Times. Good Times just sets the example of fucking scumbag poor black guys stuck in the ghetto.
Exactly. You wouldn't have any of that shit. I mean, you wouldn't have funny Eddie Murphy. I mean, you wouldn't have Richard Pryor. Yeah. The list goes on and on.
Yep, you're right.
I mean, would Rocky? I guess Rocky would have to beat another white guy. He wouldn't beat Apollo Creed.
Yeah.
It'd be racist for the white Italian to beat the black guy.
Yeah.
He'd have to beat another white guy. That'd be wrong.
Yeah.
That'd be racist and shit.
I got to say, that'd be a hard movie to make. I don't think I've ever, and I'm a boxing fan, and I'm just being honest, I don't think I've ever seen two white guys fight in a professional boxing match.
I don't think so either, but, you have to make it politically politically correct, because if a white guy were to beat a black guy, that's racist.
They'd have dug Jerry.
Now, if the black guy beat the white guy, that'd be perfectly fine. So you still can
Whoa,
have...
yeah,
No.
that's fine. That's the black guy fight for equality.
That's fine, because that's what happened in Rocky 1, and people still have a problem with that because it made Rocky out to be the good guy, even though he lost.
Which was one of the great bits Eddie Murphy did on Raw. He was talking about, Italian guys watching Rocky. I don't know if you guys ever saw that or not.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's just that. I mean, hell, you wouldn't even have the Three Stooges. You couldn't do the freaking Three Stooges. You couldn't do the Little Rascals.
No, you definitely couldn't do Little Rascals. You definitely couldn't do Little Rascals.
And unfortunately, I own all of the Little Rascals uncut, and that shit was funny.
Dude,
It was.
the best, there's some racist moments in that. The one moment where they're all hot, I think they're cooking or something, and Spanky wipes his forehead and flicks it, and you just see the water hit the wall, and then Stymie wipes his and flicks it, and the wall turns black. Oh my God.
He had black sweat.
He had black sweat. Remember that?
I do.
My favorite. Oh, remember the one where they got the wild man from Borneo?
Best episode ever.
Well, yeah, that's my favorite Rascals episode. Then there's the one where they found these lamps, and they're sitting there rubbing the lamps, and Stymie's brother was on that episode,
right.
and Spanky's rubbing the lamp, going, "I wish Cotton was a monkey. I wish Cotton was a monkey." The little black kid, and Stymie goes, "Hey, you quit wishing my brother be a monkey." And Spanky goes, "Well, all he needs is a tail."
Yeah, they had some. Little Rascals were great. I think other than Borneo is by far my favorite one, but I also like the one when they were cooking the cake, and they put the gloves and the plaster and everything.
It was a surprise cake, and it went wee, whoa, wee, whoa.
And then going around the table, don't drink the milk. Why? It's poison.
It's spoiled.
It's spoiled.
Because they made it out of plaster Paris because they dumped over the bucket of milk in the barn.
And then they get to the teacher, and she goes, "Why?" And he goes, "It's spoiled."
She goes, "Spoiled nothing. You put that milk on your mush and you eat it."
Little Rascals was the best.
Yeah, they were. I remember my old man introduced me to that one. The first one he ever showed me was a wild man from Borneo. The whole yum, eat 'em up. That Spanky thought that was his Uncle George.
Yeah, that's
your white privilege coming through there, Lou. If you weren't a racist, you wouldn't have found that funny at all. You would have found that completely offensive.
Oh yeah, I should have yelled at my dad and told him to take the VHS tape out and think about your white privilege.
You know which one I liked, and I think it was like pre the big cast, but it was. I love it just because it's so ridiculous to watch. The one where the two fat guys fight in the.
Oh yeah, Chubby and Joe.
Yeah, Chubsy and Joe, and they do the fighting in fast motion. So,
and his pants keep falling down.
But I just liked how they would do everything in regular speed until they start fighting. That was like, like a million miles an hour fighting. It's so good.
Yeah, I mean, that show was great.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, grew up watching those. I mean, we didn't growing up as a little kid. We didn't think nothing racist about it. We thought it was funny. We thought buckwheat was funny.
Yeah, it was just funny.
We weren't sitting there thinking, "Oh yeah, look at them." I hate niggers because of this show. It was funny. Buckwheat, here I is. I mean, that was funny. And when I give credit to Eddie Murphy when he did, again, I know I'm bringing him up a lot tonight, but when he did SNL the past year, he played all his old characters that you would have thought there's no way he could get away. He couldn't do today. Like he played Buckwheat again. And he played, Velvet Jones, I Want to Be a Hoe.
Yeah.
And,
Well, he's got $500 million, though. What's he got to lose?
Well, you would have thought SNL wouldn't let him do it. They're all woke and shit.
It's probably the only way they got. It's probably the only way they got him on was that he could have creative freedom over his appearance.
He brought all those back. Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood.
Yeah, that's good too.
I mean, what's that?
That's good too. Mr. Eddie Murphy's funny. That's one of those that he was supposed to be touring this year. He was supposed to go and do a new comedy tour, and that was one I was going to. I don't care what that costs. That's a show I would like to see, is Eddie Murphy doing comedy live.
Well, his best part on that SNL was when he opening monologue when he came out and said, "Who would have thought Bill Cosby be in trouble and I'd be a boring stay-at-home dad?" 20 years ago, I wouldn't even take that bet.
It's pretty good. All right, Lou, anything else?
Well, all kinds of shit going on in my head, but I don't want to go down the rabbit hole. I mean, hell, we all know the world's fucked up right now. Anybody who's on the fence as far as who to vote for, look around, look what's going on in the world. You vote Democrat, this is what you're going to get. What's going on now? Statues being torn down, building, defund the police, letting the inmates run the asylum. That's what you're going to get with those Biden. I don't know what it says about the American people that this guy's even in contention right now.
Dude, you know what should scare you to no end? That AOC got reelected.
Oh, I know. Jesus Christ. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm like you, Chris. They need bring up that she's just too stupid to be fuckable anymore.
That's it. She is.
She is just too goddamn stupid. I mean, I would maybe want an angry fucker, fuck her so hard you put doggy style, you put her head through the wall.
You do that a lot, Lou?
No, but with her I would. Take out that take 12 inches of hard dick and knock him across those teeth.
All right. Well, let's
maybe knock a couple out. I mean, Jesus.
Let's just leave it as you imagine you would, and let's not make an actual threat here, Lou.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. I'm not threatening AOC. Horse mouth. I'm going to take her to the glue.
If the consensual opportunity was there, you might bang her really hard. Let's just leave it there.
Only if she asked for it.
There you go. Perfect.
Only if she asked for it. Politically correct sex. You got to be. Oh, you want me to put my fist up your ass? Sure, honey. Now that you asked.
Jeez, oh man.
I mean,
here, sign this consent form first, will you?
Right. What's your safe word? Everything's free? Sure.
All right, Lou, I think you're going to end up on a high note, so you better cut it before you start going into the ridiculous.
Yeah, well, geez, going into the ridiculous on your show, that's a high bar to reach. So, but anyway, yeah, all right, manager, I'm coming. Manager's coming in with the beer. So, hell and kill, fuck you, pal, and hand job.
And there goes Lou from the Lou.
There he goes.
Lou cracks me up sometimes.
Yeah, it would. My goodness.
What's your safe word? Everything's free. That was a good one, Lou.
That was a great line.
That was a good one. All right. Getting back to James Woods smashing, crying Jimmy Kimmel.
Okay.
Woods, however, did not find the apology to be sufficient, tweeting, "I have long been reluctant to address this as I knew doing so would be celebrated as a victory by those who equated apologies with weakness. So another leftist essentially uses his apology as an attack on others. Just own it, you unabashed racist."
That's a pretty hard hammer.
Well, hey, you know what has James Woods got to lose? He's been kind of marginalized by the Hollywood elite.
Yeah. Yeah. What's the last thing he did?
It's been a while.
Oh.
The Daily Wire noted late night host Jimmy Kimmel broke his silence concerning his past donning of blackface in old man show sketches, though he did not explicitly address reports of his alleged use of the N-word on a past Christmas album. He used nigger on a Christmas album?
I don't know.
What kind of a Christmas album is that?
Lou, you want to call back in and tell us about it?
Kimmel's statement by way of the Hollywood Reporter. Blah, blah, blah. Let's see here. I have long been reluctant to address this, as I knew doing so would be celebrated. I think I read that. That delay was my mistake. There's nothing more important to me than your respect. Nobody respects a crying douchebag.
That's true.
I got news for you, Jimmy. Nobody respects a crying man on TV.
No.
Nobody.
Yeah.
And I apologize, and nobody respects anyone who apologizes with empty apologies just because your ass is on the line.
No one cares. You're
And
still fired. You still, if you were wearing an R at the end of your name, you'd be fired.
Yeah, of course. And I apologize those who were genuinely hurt or offended by the makeup that I wore or the words that I spoke.
All none of you that were offended.
Yeah, nobody. Everybody was laughing along with you at the time when you used to be funny, Jimmy.
Right. All right.
On KROQ radio in the mid-90s, I did a reoccurring impression of NBA player Karl Malone. In the late 90s, I continued impersonating Malone on TV. We hired, I like how the fact that he's trying to pawn this off on makeup artists.
Yeah.
Why is that even why are you even including makeup artists? Everybody gets it. You were made up.
Yeah. Yeah. You were playing a black basketball player.
Yes. Why do you have to keep bringing up makeup artists?
Would it be any less offensive if he didn't wear makeup, but just said, "Hey, I'm Karl Malone"?
It's like, yeah, I don't get the joke. You don't look anything like him.
Yeah. So you did the makeup to be part of the joke.
Yeah. To make it more realistic, to make it more, it used to be a thing that Howard Stern used to use the word a lot on his show. It was hijinks.
Yeah. I mean, dude, this would be like Gallagher saying, imagine I had a watermelon here. I'm going to pretend I'm smashing it. Because
pretend like pieces and bits of watermelon are flying out into the audience while I slam this sledgehammer on this table here.
Yeah, because I don't want to offend anybody that eats watermelon.
No, I don't want to offend vegans.
Yeah. It's like, you dummy. Just fucking say, yeah, we did a bit. It was funny. Fuck off.
Yeah.
That's the end of your apology. Yeah, we did a bit. It was funny. Go fuck yourself. Goodbye.
Yeah. We hired makeup artists to make me look as much like Karl Malone as possible. Okay. Yeah, I get it. All right. So, I never considered that this might be as anything other than an imitation of a fellow human being. Not a black guy, of course, just a fellow human being.
Fair enough. I agree with them. It was just a fellow human being. It was just some fucking basketball player.
Yeah.
He didn't go out of his, he wasn't, I have not heard this bit, to be honest. So maybe I'm speaking out of tune, but I'm gonna guess that he didn't go, well, oogly boogly, look at me playing some basketball. Oogly boogly.
He basically impersonated Karl Malone. He wore like he played who would he play? Salt Lake City?
Utah Jazz.
Yeah, the Utah Jazz. He played for them. Mm-hmm. And so he wore like a Utah Jazz jersey, and he was acting like Karl Malone in a spoof situation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so what?
Yeah. What are you apologizing for?
And that had no more to do with Carl's skin color than it did his bulging muscles and his bald head.
So then why do you have to justify it?
Well, because he's trying to soften it. He's trying to deflect away from the skin color thing and trying to make it more that I was more representative of Karl Malone as a person, not as a black person.
Listen, Jimmy, here's the facts of life. The more you try to justify your actions, the more bad your actions are perceived as.
Yeah, because you're trying to cover it with or try to deflect from it. And so if you didn't feel like you did anything wrong, why all the deflection?
If he just comes out and says, I didn't do anything wrong, next topic.
Yeah.
Oh, now what? Where's the argument to that? Yes, you did. Okay, well, that's what you think. Moving on. You know, that's it. Don't give it any weight. That's why the apology is so stupid in the first fucking place. Because every time these guys do apologize, they don't mean it, but they're giving it more weight themselves. When you give it the weight is when it looks the worst. If somebody else comes out and says, you did blackface, you did this, you did that, until you give it the weight back, then it doesn't have any weight. It's just an accusation. It's when you give it that weight by saying, well, let me tell you what I was trying to do. You just said, I'm guilty, but maybe you didn't understand fully what I was doing. You're giving the weight by apologizing. So stupid.
Yeah,
How can
I agree.
you not see this?
Well, it's just his way of justifying what he's doing and more or less a cry out, please don't fire me over this.
Yeah.
That's what he's basically doing. He's trying to justify his position without paying any kind of the current consequences other people are paying.
Right.
For doing the same goddamn thing.
Mm-hmm.
I've done dozens of impressions of famous people, including Snoop Dogg, black guy, Oprah, black woman, Eminem, Dick Vitale, Rosie O'Donnell, and many others. In each case, I thought of them as impersonations of celebrities and nothing more. Yeah, that's what other people were doing, but somehow they're held to account when they do that.
And guess what? That's what other people thought too, dumb shit.
Yeah. Looking back, many of these sketches are embarrassing, and it's frustrating that these thoughtless moments, they weren't thoughtless. You were probably back there laughing it up just as much as any producer or one of your writers said, you know what would be really funny? If we came out and did this. Yeah, that would be really funny. Let's go with that angle.
Yeah, let's develop this idea and let's go do it tonight.
Yeah. That's these thoughtless moments that have become a weapon used by some to diminish my criticisms of social and other injustices. Well, again, you live by the sword, you die by the sword, Jimmy. You don't get to wield the sword and nobody gets to wield one back at you.
Does he not realize that 99% of cancel culture comes from the fucking left?
It's all of it from the fucking left.
None of it comes from the right. The right don't give a shit. The right doesn't. Nobody was crazily outraged about Sarah Silverman. Nobody was really crazily outraged about Howard Stern 2 weeks ago or whatever. You know, nobody gives a shit. Conservatives just want to be left the fuck alone. That's all you got to do. Leave conservatives alone. They're only going to get fucking heated up when you fucking come on your attack. When your constant barrage of you're fucking stupid if you don't want socialism and you don't want to share the wealth and you don't want to pay reparations. You know, if you knock all that shit off and just say, look, I want to give reparations, so I'm going to give the black neighbor next to me $100 million or whatever. No one's going to give a shit. It's when you try to tell me that I need to do it that I'm going to give a real shit. You know, it's like, shut the fuck up. God damn, dude.
I believe that I have evolved and I've matured over the last 20 plus years. And I hope that it's evident to anyone who watches my show. Yeah, you weren't a crying bitch back then. Now you are.
Yeah.
So
we don't watch
so you've evolved from somebody who enjoyed watching big boob girls jump on trampolines to a guy who pees his pants and cries tears of sorrow on a late night TV show, you faggot.
Yeah, exactly. And I still have a feeling he still likes watching some titties bounce.
Yeah, well, who knows? I know that this will not be the last I hear of this, and that it will be used again to try to quiet me. Well, they only try to quiet you because, again, it's not because you did this. It's because you're critical of others who have, and you've done the same goddamn thing. You did the same thing. So you need to either sit there and shut your fucking pie hole, or when somebody criticizes you, you need to own it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Somebody made a great point in the chat room about Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
He said he had no regrets about Tropic Thunder.
Yeah. I own that disc.
Yeah. Well, regardless of if you own it or not, the point is he did blackface.
He did.
He said, I don't care. Fuck you. I did it. I own it. That's it. And where's the call for his problem? None. Nobody's calling for his head. No, why? Because he didn't give it any weight. Said it's a character. I did it. Fuck you. That's all you have to do. It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah. My summer vacation has been planned for more than a year, and it includes the next 2 summers off as well. I will be back to work in September, crying on your TV screen like I have. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to explain to those who I disappointed, and I'm sorry. Now I'm going to go wipe my tears away. Mm-hmm. My liberal tears.
Yeah, on a $3 million vacation.
Yeah.
Fuck him.
Yeah, that's what I say.
He's a piece of shit.
What a dick.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's take a break, and we'll come back and do some more of this ridiculous bullshit.
Okay.
All right. What do you want to hear? You said you wanted to go new school now?
All right, let's go new school. You're going to definitely have to go to probably YouTube for this.
Okay.
Our good friend Byron Nemeth has a new song called A New Freedom with a vocalist that is a friend of yours and mine, Mr. Mark Bowles.
Okay. Is it under his name?
It's under Byron's name. Yeah,
that's
Byron.
what I mean. It's under his name.
Yeah.
What's the name of the tune?
A New Freedom.
Mark Bowles, Youngstown guy.
Yep.
Well, there it is. All right. Well, here's our good friend Byron featuring Mark Bowles on lead vocal, and here it is. It's A New Freedom exclusively here
on your classic metal show.